And we are back with another technologically sound and completely problem-free episode of Knight's Quest.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
We have not been struggling for an hour, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know that we are adamant at providing content for you, that we are leaping through literal burning hoops to record this shit right now.
I feel like my double flip through the last burning hoop was most impressive, but the judges didn't see it that way. They only gave me a 6.
Well, the problem is they couldn't see you because we had to turn our cameras off.
That's true.
for our phenomenal Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah.
So let me break it down for y'all. So, per pandemic rules, we are recording over Skype, as we have been for a while, but our Wi-Fi is trash, so we turned off the videos, so it's just audio. And some of our microphones have been glitching, so we're having to use backup microphones. So it's a day.
Oh boy. But I mean, at least it's not like a regular ass like story episode of KQ. Like at least it's just answering questions.
That's true. That would be a lot more difficult for sure.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the 6th episode of Nighttime. You don't need to listen to those in order. It's the 6th one. This one is our season 2.
Do.
Yeah, I think
questions
you still
are only
should listen
relevant
in order
to the season that they're in.
Right.
You don't need to listen to all 6 Nighttimes though, is what I'm saying.
Oh, sure.
Right. That's fair.
You should listen to all of season 2 though. If you have not, do that because we're going to be riddling this episode with spoilers.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because this is our Q&A episode.
This is your official spoiler alert. Jamie, if you can, Jamie and Nathan, if you could do something cool in front of my voice here. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
You already did it. I don't need to add any effects to that.
I was thinking like a siren in the background or something.
Like I did in the last episode.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, how dare you frickin' drop that shit without letting me know first? I was fucking squealing in my car.
Oh, the ending?
Yeah.
Yeah, the post ending.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. I don't understand what's going on, but it was fun.
Yeah, I guess we'll just start with that. So, audience, I'm the only person that knew that was going in there. Jake and Jamie didn't know about it either. Simply because I like torturing my friends.
Well, I was talking with my buddy Josh the other day about it, and I was like sitting in my car listening to that, and I'm like developing all these crazy like conspiracy theories about like who is he talking to? Who's in Goldon? That's da 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 da. And I was like, why don't I know the answers to my own podcast?
Because I want you guys to be able to have the fun too. You guys get to have your conspiracy theories.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
I want the person I'm thinking to be it, but I don't know if it's that person. Okay,
here's what I'm going to... I want to hear your theories, but I also don't want you... If you're right, I don't want you to...
Well, guess what we can do.
What a tangled web we weave, fucker.
You can just bleep out both of our answers.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's bleep them out. Okay. All right, Jake, who do you think it is?
I think it's conjoined.
Nice.
Okay. I'm just going to have the conjoined. That's all it's going to say.
That'll be very confusing for our listeners.
All right, Jamie, who do you think it is?
I think it's...
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even think about it.
And I would give you my reasoning, but then you'd have to bleep that out too, because it'd be very obvious who I'm talking about.
It'd be useless. Well, are they right? Are they wrong? Only I know. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I want to start this off with 2 theories that got sent to me that I thought were fun. One is what we were just talking about. Jared thinks that I was speaking to Baz al Ghul at the end.
Oh.
That's who he thinks.
Interesting.
And then a completely different theory that was sent to us by Natalie. She said she thinks that what if Abiel was an agent of the Glenwian King to spy on Raynor, and Abiel had spells on him that would make people forget about him. That's what would make him a good spy.
Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness.
You're reading too much into the meta, Natalie.
That's so cool, though. Because
it's moments like that where I'm like, y'all should write this story.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, that's 100% what it is. That we definitely thought about it all the way.
Also, everything with the king at the end of season 1, I kind of forgot. He did have a vested interest in we have to make sure that the bard gets all the way to his destination and that he doesn't chicken out or anything like that. So I hadn't even been thinking about that because that was kind of a long time ago for us, but that's very interesting.
I'm not saying that conspiracy theories won't become canon, but
Right.
many of them that are out there were not canon originally. Another theory, I forgot who shared it with me, but they thought that Abil was just the spirit of memory.
Whoa.
Interesting.
I'm not saying those aren't going to become canon, but I will say right now, no, we just forget Abil that much. That's not...
Yep. Before now, that was not the case.
That's just
Is one of
how
those the case now?
powerful he is.
That's who he is. Okay, so as I guess I've already said, you guys sent in your questions. Blanket statement at the top. Thank you everyone for sending in your questions.
Yes, that was so exciting to see.
So now we're going to answer them. And I've broken them into a couple chunks. Ones that talk about Season 1. Questions that talk about Season 2. Questions that ask about Season 3. Questions that ask us about our favorite stuff. And then miscellaneous.
Nice,
So-
nice.
What category do you guys want to start with? I'll give you this power.
Let's just go chronologically. Start with season 1.
So with
Works
Season
for
1.
me.
Okay. Oh, this one was actually just sent to us yesterday, so we'll start with that one. I love this one. This was sent in by Josh P. Thank you, Josh. What was the inspiration for creating the characters you did from the beginning, and have they changed in ways you didn't expect?
Oh.
It's a big one.
Oh, wow. Well, Rainer, why don't you start?
Rainer is... I definitely started Rainer the way he was because I, at the time, and to a point now, but mostly at the time, I was very unsure of any kind of role-playing game. I was very skeptical of my own ability to play a character. So because of that, I made him very, very close to how I think I would act. I didn't make any crazy personality choices or any, like, really fun, interesting, off-the-wall ideas because I didn't really think I had it in me to pull that off, to be totally honest. I think the interesting and unexpected way that has changed is definitely the fact that as his story has gotten more wrapped up in the hero and writer stuff, to the point where that's something he has to think about and act according to a lot, so too has my playing of the game changed. Because more so in the second season, I'm now thinking about, like, okay, how can I, in real life, play this story in an interesting way that makes it a good podcast, that makes it good to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I was 100% doing that at the beginning. I think I was just very panicked and thinking like, I don't know, we're gonna make fun of the beggar, I guess, sure, that's fine. And like, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And
well,
I
it's
think,
funny you say that too, because I definitely remember conversations that Nathan and I had in season 1, and it definitely felt more like, how can we create interesting situations and see how Jamie as Rainer will react?
Yes.
And that has definitely
okay.
become that's completely gone away now. At least from my perspective, and I think we can, Nathan, you can agree.
Yeah.
You are definitely a much more active player.
Yes.
Oh,
than when we
good,
first
good.
started.
that's exactly what I was hoping for, yeah.
Jake, let's take turns when we answer ours.
Okay.
I'm going to go. Leroy started off as simply because Rainer mentioned he had a friend named Leroy.
Yeah,
And so
man.
I made Leroy happen, and he was birthed through time. The voice I gave him was just one of my default voices that I have, and I think that shaped him more than anything. Just to have like this voice, I was like, what kind of character has that voice?
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just a yes. There was no inspiration. That was all just, he was built off of yes and jokes. I think the biggest one was when we made the roll about the bad bread, and I think I rolled like a 1. I'm like, oh yeah, they feed him the bad bread.
Right.
And so, that's why he's kind of a little crazy.
But also the cow painting thing. Like, look at this one.
Yeah,
this one's
yeah,
a
yeah.
cow. No,
Oh,
wait,
geez,
this
yeah.
one's a different cow.
He just
That
kind of
really
happened.
changed the
God.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Leroy has like very quickly became Nathan's meta influence on the game without
Yes.
being the writer.
Well, to be fair,
Right,
that
right.
was the rich. I think that was one thing where I'm like, I needed to make sure I had a character in the game, so that way I could like nudge things in the way
Yeah.
I want them to. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
Leroy just became my grab all bag. He was just the funniest one because he was kind of not the brightest. So
Right,
to
he was
have
kind
him
of
be
not all
like,
there.
so to have him be like super aware of things, I just thought was funny.
Oh, yeah. I would agree.
All right, let's keep going. Jake, character.
I don't remember whether Jonathan or Terrence came first.
Terrence came first.
Yeah, I think Terrence is I think they're both very similar. I think Terrence is a much more pared down version of Jonathan. I think they both embody like all of my asshole qualities. Terrence was just fun to have somebody to just be not who you'd expect. You think, okay, paraplegic beggar in the street, not expecting them to have the what they did. That was totally just having something to throw at Raynor when it came to be. Jonathan, I wanted to be like, everybody has that one super extroverted best friend.
I think I wrote down on the character sheet at the very beginning, I wrote down Raynor's best friend, and I think I wrote like troublemaker on there.
Yeah,
probably.
I think that's all I gave you.
Like, everybody has known that one friend in their life that like is always like riding the line between okay, like cool and not cool. But you always have a laugh about it afterwards. The one that gets you into trouble, the one that gets you out of trouble, just the ride or die friend. And I wanted somebody that wasn't, in the beginning, was almost opposite to Raynor, because I feel like that's how friendships are kind of born. Because Jonathan wasn't afraid to speak his mind. He wasn't afraid to get into an altercation. He was there to kind of make it okay for Raynor to come out of his shell a little bit. Because Jonathan was already doing it, and he was already out there taking the brunt of the crazy. So, like, of course it's fine for Raynor too as well.
I hadn't even really picked up on that, but yeah, that's been around since the beginning.
Grorg, he started off as, I said there was a scene where there was a bunch of people of different races, and so I'm like, oh, let's put an orc in there.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, I'll make him very orky, and he was going to be more brute. And I think he actually had a weapon in the first scene. I think I actually did give him a weapon, and I just forgot about it later. So retcon, he lost. It was a weapon he was selling. That's my retcon.
Nice.
And he was just transporting it.
Yeah, but especially once they became friends with him on that walk back, I realized, I'm like, nah, he's not this big brute. He's more of that lovable teddy bear kind of guy, is what he is. Also, I think because I just found that funny, this big orc who's like actually like chill.
Yeah,
I thought it was more fun.
Absolutely, he's kind of one of the most normal people in our group at this point. I feel like
that's saying something.
Yeah.
All right, we're on question 1, so let's keep this moving faster.
Okay. Katrina was, I don't remember exactly the inception. I don't remember why Katrina came to be.
I remember the inception.
Okay.
Katrina was one of the, I knew moving forward there would be a female character, and in my head it was going to be Raynor's love interest. So I had her show up,
that's right.
and you guys were both like, no, we're not doing that.
That was one of my favorite moments of the entire show, because you were like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. Y'all are going to roll dice. And Jake said, excuse me? We're going to fucking roll dice?
I remember that now. And I think actually Katrina's personality was born out of that, like, defiance that I had.
It was born because we gave her a low charisma score, just to, like, balance out Raynor's high charisma score. And so then we're like, all right. And you just interpret that to mean she's going to be more, like, I don't want to say stuck up, but like determined.
More tomboyish, more.
And to contradict her father being like a dick.
Because at first that low charisma thing was going to be like, oh, she doesn't like get along with people well. She doesn't talk to people in an agreeable way. But pretty quickly that became like her own choice, though.
Yeah.
And it became something she was doing on purpose because she doesn't have time for bullshit. Like, she just,
I think Katrina, especially over time, the drinking thing was totally spur of the moment, and I loved it, so I kept it. She definitely became, like, strangely more independent as the story went on, because she definitely didn't need the party to do her own thing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love Katrina. She's one of my favorite characters.
And then I think, just for me too, the spirits in general were the only ones I ever had an idea going forward, like with who they were, except Mirjik. Mirjik really is his name. But like Baz Al Ghul, Neener, Sim, all those guys, I knew going up to them what their personality was, what they were, because we kind of created them before we actually met them. So like that improvisational creating of characters had already happened. So by the time we actually talked to them, they were pretty well fleshed in my mind.
That makes sense.
Any other characters we want to quickly address?
Yeah, I want
There's
to.
a lot of characters.
I mean, since we're just doing like because like all of the random offshoot characters like that just show up for a couple scenes, like Tanner and Taylor, we wanted competent, cool people in town. Like the Smiths are their own freaking entity, but like Quiss, I didn't expect to stay around as long as he did.
Right.
Quiss was definitely established because my brother went to school with a kid that had a speech impediment, and it was the direct speech impediment that affected how he said his own name. And we had a big long laugh about like, okay, so if he's going to say his name like this, is it spelled Chris? And he pronounces it Quiss, and I'm like, no, that's mean. His name is Quis, but he does have a lisp, so I kept the speech impediment part in, but he was just supposed to be like a random like helper around the manor, and he became so much more than that.
Yeah. Which, let's quickly address a question that was brought up by Chase. What happened to Quiss's lisp? Pretty simply, his lisp went away because he wasn't Quiss anymore. He was Conquist.
Yeah.
So that was our one way of differentiating them.
Yeah, because it was a pretty obvious and a pretty big thing when it happened. Of like, oh my god, why is he talking different? And when he came back in the finale, like, oh my god,
made
Quiss
sense
is back.
now.
Yeah.
The other season 1 questions we have, Natalie asked, what was Nathan's original plan for season 1 in general? How did it change? And Kelly asked similarly, how has the podcast changed over time?
Yeah.
So a lot. I'll address quickly, and then you guys can point out anything else you've noticed. Originally, the goal with Knight's Quest was that it was going to be a 1-season story, and then we would change to somewhere else. And that Knight's Quest would just kind of be a bunch of 1-season long stories. We'd tell some story with some characters, and we'd go somewhere else. Maybe it'd be like prequely, maybe sequely, maybe they wouldn't be connected at all. At the end of season 1, we were just getting started, and I'm like, nah, we gotta keep going with this.
Yeah, we couldn't leave it where it was.
Yeah, that was like right when it was getting good.
Yeah.
As far as how it's the original plan, I had very little plan. The only thing I had when we first sat down was I knew we were going to be in Goldon. I knew there was going to be a demon in the mine eventually. I knew there'd be a Coasterine festival at some point.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a lot sooner, but we had some other stuff. And I knew that I was going to let you guys kind of pick a lot of the direction. So that's kind of why it took us a couple episodes to actually get the plot going. It's because I wanted to like see what happened.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, real quick. You just reminded me. 2 other characters that 3 technically that I wanted to cover. Bathilda and Eloise totally just showed up because of like we rolled it, didn't we?
No, I shoved them in there because I realized we had, after we got rid of Katrina, 0 female characters.
Gotcha.
And I was like,
oh,
that's not okay.
right.
And so I'm like, let's get some more female characters in here just because I want our party to be diverse. And I thought that having them be musically gifted would give them a connection to Raynor.
Yeah.
Would be good.
And then Bartuk, once again, totally not supposed to be important as he was. Thought he was just going to be there until
that's the
the
same with
party
his Ajax.
stopped talking to him, and then he would cease to exist forever, and he just grabbed everything and ran with it.
He stole the show. He stole that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, what other ways have you guys noticed season 1? Well, the change in the podcast. Obviously, audio quality, music production has changed. I think one that's changed is we started off just jokes. And I'm glad we did. And as the story's gone on, we've added a lot more serious beats. And I like that. I think the best stories have comedy and emotional character development is what makes, I think, the best stories is when they have both. And I'm glad we didn't start with, here's my tragic backstory. Like, we built up to that.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
No, I totally agree. And I think that's part of, because I've talked with my buddy Josh a couple times about this, but I think that's part of what led to the success of how the story developed and also our enjoyment of it, because since it started from literally nothing and only jokes, and our decision that jokes are now reality, that allowed us to create this ridiculous but intricate, diverse world that we were in. And then because we followed the dice, which were chance, and we followed the jokes, which were ridiculous, it led us to these crazy events that were happening. And I really think that helped to deepen our story.
This is not the most deep or insightful change in the story, but like how the story changed from like episode 1, 2, and 3 until moving on from there. Like you were saying about how we could just make jokes and like just that is a thing now. Like, oh, I say the name Leroy and now there's a Leroy. After like the first couple episodes, it was mostly in episode 1, a little bit in the 2 or 3 episodes after that, and then really not so much anymore, you know? Because like,
well, I know why. The reason was because in the first 2 episodes, you were in your hometown where you were supposedly supposed to know what was going on. So it made sense for your character to talk definitively. But after that, going into the mine and going to different locations, your characters didn't know what was there. So it was harder for you to say, yes, I'm going to go talk to this person, because you didn't know that. You had to depend more on me telling you what was already there.
Well, for sure, certainly that. But also, like, as we moved along in the story, it definitely felt more and more like it would be very, like, story-wise, it would be really inappropriate for me to suddenly say, like, oh, it's just like this other thing that I know all about and have not mentioned before this, you know? Like in episode 20, it wouldn't really make sense for Raynor to suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'm also a master carpenter, and just like just whip that out of his back pocket, you know? So it was very interesting to see how the sort of haphazardness of the first couple episodes gradually settled down, both in the way you were talking about and also, you know, just the more general way of like what our characters say and do, very much settled down into a story that could progress, you know?
I was just going to say, I think a lot of the weirdness that a lot of the spontaneity happened off mic. Like I can remember quite a few times where I would like text Nathan during the recording when I had an idea of how to do something weird or had a question that I wanted answered. Like one of those moments was the Chimera at the Sun Festival.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that already, yeah.
Yeah. But there's been other instances where like we would message privately, or I would ask Jamie something and we would just kind of go from there, or we'd have a situation and we'd be like, wait, is this going to fucking happen? And then we would just go with it.
All right, moving on to season 2. I'm going to start with one, and I'm going to try to make it quick, but then we're going to start talking about favorite moments from the season. So you guys can start thinking about that.
Good
but I'm going to adjust the question first. What do you guys think about that? Natalie asked, how much of the story was planned out ahead of time? Not much. As we've already said, our key characters were jokes that we did a run on. But I will say, for season 2, this is what I had planned. We were going to be in Tareve, and we were going to be in Tareve the whole season. I kind of like having each season being in its own country. That's been fun. I knew what spirits we were going to meet, and in the moment where Sansir kind of gives those visions to Raynor, those were the things I had planned. I knew we were going to go to the Shadowgate. I knew we were going to go meet Sim, and I knew we were going to go to the Usra dungeon and fight Conquest there.
Oh, shit. I did not go back and think about that more closely.
Yeah. That was all there. So other than that, though, Abil, he was a roll of the dice.
Oh, yeah.
Bartuk was a fill-in. All the adventures in the desert were dice rolls. Yep. The dungeon itself, I didn't plan till later. The Oasis, I didn't plan till later.
Hey, how about the Omaris?
The Omaris, I did have them planned. I didn't have them as, like, big of a thing as they were.
Okay.
the linchpin in the entire, like, gate.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But no, I just kind of was like, I wanted to have some kind of just antagonistic force because I didn't want you guys just to be like, there's no problems here. So I'm like, I'll put these guys here. And then over time I was like, they're actually a pretty good force to oppose you.
Right.
Which leads to the next question, which there was 2 questions that were the same thing. So Emma asked, what has been your most shocking / memorable improv moments of season 2? Which is very similar to a question that was asked by Jared, which was, what were each of your favorite moments of season 2?
Okay.
I know one that was most shocking for me.
Go for it.
When Raynor was trying to convince one of the important figures in the Omaris, Raynor was trying to do some quick negotiation work, and he accidentally convinced them that they should go get superpowers and take over the city.
Lelouch.
I would say that was pretty shocking for me.
I I would second
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah.
I had imagined that arc being done already. Like
Right.
you guys were going to have the fight in the Shadowgate and it was going to be over. But then that moment it just felt like as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, of course they'd go and make a wish for this. And oh yeah, Nina would be totally fine with that.
Right.
And it just like all flowed. And I was like, I kind of like at the end of that episode, I was just sitting there like, this is where we are now, I guess. We're not leaving yet.
Yeah, and I hadn't thought it through that way, so it had not even occurred to me that might happen, or that it would be directly because of what I said. So that was kind of a jarring moment for sure.
I have like 3 big like favorite improv moments. One of them was everything that happened with was it the King Lotus?
Shoot.
The lily.
Yeah.
Acid lily.
That
Yeah,
was
but they also
freaking
called
awesome.
it the King. Yeah.
Yeah, the King Acid Lily.
Everything to do with Bartuk, just fucking everything was off the
Yeah.
cuff. The biggest like WTF improv moment for me was Raynor's decision to put Conquest's finger in the mystic pouch. I think
Yeah, what the
all of us
fuck?
stopped for like 10 solid seconds and went,
It was
what?
Oh, guys, I'm so glad.
that floored me.
Yeah.
Although, if we're being completely honest, that wasn't so much improv for me because I had been thinking about that possibility for a while.
Oh, I'd assumed you had, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was improv for me.
Yeah, I had never even considered that as a possibility. Favorite moments? Eloise meeting the Keeper, and that whole
Yeah.
shebang was
Yeah.
awesome. The entire fight with the Omaris with Bartuk and his minions.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
on the
that
top
was
of the gate.
insane.
Yeah.
The arch.
And I mean the final battle with Mirjik and Conquest for sure.
Yeah.
Also, as Ajax and Bartuk's battle was pretty dope too.
That was, yeah, the battles turned out really cool. I would say favorite improv moments, like I said, that Omri's...
and the fumbles and the fumble coat and the fumbles and Jonathan and the fumbles.
That was definitely improv, yeah. My favorite improv moments. Omaris and Neener, as we said. The ring thrown in the pouch. I still freak out thinking about that. I also really loved the negotiations with Sim. Because that was one of those moments where I'm like, here's a problem, solve it. And I did not have in my mind a correct answer. I was just going to be like, yo, if you roll good enough and if what you say is convincing, it's going to happen. I had the idea of the Simple Sim symbol before that because I liked that
You
name
didn't.
so much.
Of course.
That's ridiculous.
And I thought the idea of Grorg being a cleric was a fun idea, but I didn't know how
Definitely.
we were going to get there. And so Jonathan just like swooped right into this idea I had, and I'm like, perfect, we going with it. Let's run with that. Favorite moments, other than that, I really loved the Azamite moment where we got to see everyone's fears. That turned out really well. I loved that. And
So spooky.
I think just all the moments of like people having intimate connections, like actually like having moments with each other throughout. Most of those were in like traveling scenes. I really liked just seeing the character. Oh, fucking Grorg and Eloise training Salazar.
Oh yeah,
That was
That
amazing.
was delightful.
yeah. All of
That was one of those
stuff.
moments where I'm like, there's some character connections that just happen, and I'm like, yes,
That was really hilarious.
Yeah, I never would have seen that coming. All the family stuff with Katrina that I thought was definitely going to be like B story became like way more important and actually interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Next question sent to us by Lowell. Has a scene ever gone so poorly you re-recorded it or scrapped it entirely? I'm gonna say no.
No, I can
don't think
definitely
so.
think of times where we have reworded lines.
Yep,
But
we've
the
done
whole
that.
point of Knight's Quest is that regardless of the roles, we have to do it because that's the reality. And even if something doesn't go to our liking, it's canon now, bitch.
Yeah, it's kind of now, bitch. There are scenes that I probably should have cut out just because they were boring, but I just never had the heart to do it. So no, we never retook anything, and we never cut major scenes out.
I would say the only moment that gets even close to that definition, I think, would be the very beginning of season 2, because we agreed
Yes.
like it's going to still be mostly improvised, but also let's give people a little bit of information if they're starting here.
Yeah. Let's get a platform to bounce off of.
Which, as it turns out, is super difficult to do.
Oh my God.
Have you guys ever tried to give someone exposition in like a normal conversation that doesn't
Yeah,
sound
how do
weird?
people do that?
It's
how do
really
people write
hard.
books?
We didn't like
I am Uriel Septum.
we didn't like totally get rid of the idea and start over, but we definitely did keep working on it for a little bit.
Yeah, we did a
because
couple
that was
takes.
just really difficult, and like it was that was a pretty tricky bit of trying to do something a little different from usual, and I think that helped us realize that that's
Never again.
probably not one of our strengths.
Yeah, that's probably the
Never again.
closest ever
Yeah,
we came to
scripted
that.
shit. We struggle the most when things are scripted.
right.
Yeah, improv is our best.
Or when not all of us are there, as Nathan and I figured out.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
We'll get to that in a second. Shh, spoilies. Let's do a couple favorites before we move on to talking about the future. Jake asked, hey, wait a minute. That's you. Don't worry. Someone else also
something's
asked the
not
same
right.
question. Natalie also asked it. What is everyone's favorite magic item?
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Or Jake put it, what's the best and worst magic items?
Huh.
I mean, in my opinion, worst magic item, the groundoscope from season 1. The
Oh my
geoscope.
god. I forgot
Geoscope,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, we literally don't even have it anymore. That's how dumb it was.
I'd say best magic item, either Azajax's finger guns
Yes.
or
Nice.
Jonathan's hat.
Oh, okay.
I think
okay.
the Reverse-O-Matic is OP as fuck.
It
And
is. I just
yeah,
don't use
yeah.
it enough.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. It literally breaks everything I have. I'm like, you can't go back and save a Zajax now, and you're like, Reverse-O-Matic. I'm like, fuck. It's going to cost you anima. Well, don't worry. We have a large anima supply. Fuck.
That's true. Also, the Oopsie Bracer, another broken item when used in conjunction with the Reverse-O-Matic.
Yeah. I got to start taking these things away. I don't know how.
Another favorite of mine, the Dragon Spit Ring was great.
Yeah.
Also,
That's like our only combat item we really have.
yeah. I mean, fuck, what's the Backstabber?
That's combat. That's
Yeah,
combat.
the Backstabber in conjunction with the Cloak of Daggers. I feel like those were the two items that best fit a character.
Oh, here's a Katrina thing. She became a rogue the moment we were on the road and you realized she had no way to defend herself and you were like, can she be like good at knives? And I'm like, I guess. And then she bought knives and I'm like, I guess she's a rogue now.
Yeah.
And then we found a crime network and we're like, you're in it now.
I am now a knives person.
This is our criminal. And now she's a mega assassin,
Following in Mommy's footsteps.
which we made a thing because she was an assassin.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I just really like the ocarina. Like I find something very charming about it because we made the jokes about Ocarina of Time like at the very beginning of the show, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, I love the idea of like if Link had the ocarina in that game, but it could do even more weird shit, and also he had no weapons. Like, that really strikes me as just a funny idea. And the more we've developed the ocarina and the different songs, there's something that I find absolutely just wonderful about that, especially because some of them are the most ridiculous and just, oh, this is just never going to give you up. Like, this is just Careless Whisper. And some of them are like very, very serious moments. And I really love how off the wall and jumbled up it all is. It's just super fun for me, to be honest.
Another question about favorites, asked again by Natalie. And I don't know if I'm legally allowed to answer this one, if I feel like a parent. But the question is, who is your favorite character, and which would you want to be? It's like picking your own child. Who's your favorite child? But that's a double-edged sword. Who's your favorite, and who would you want to be? Very different.
Yeah, Jamie.
Let me just say, well, we could say all characters, not just yours. Like all
okay.
characters.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, I love Leroy. I love playing Leroy. I never regret playing Leroy. Would I want to be him? No. But I just love being him. I love being a Zajax. They're both just like fun. Well, a Zajax got a lot more serious near the end, but they're just like boom, bam, you know?
Yeah.
And Neener Neener. I loved playing Neener Neener too. That was just a fun voice.
Oh my goodness.
It's really hard because I I don't know if I can choose a favorite between Jonathan and Katrina. And I suppose it's the same in Who Would You Want to Be? Because, like, Katrina, she's just fucking badass, and she's got all these cool, like, powers now and weapons, and she's, like, capable, and she knows what she wants to do, and she's good at it. And then there's Jonathan, and he's just great. And he's a good friend, and he's a good thinker, and he's, like, a talented salesman. I feel like more of myself is in Jonathan, and I'm so interested in his, like, family backstory. So I feel like...
Oh, yeah.
I feel like if I'm going to do this, I'm going to say favorite character, Jonathan. Who would I want to be? Katrina, for sure. It was hard to not put Bartuk in that list, but Bartuk has a lot going on.
I'm still not sure how to answer this, because I think... if I was thinking about this, if I was trying to like remove myself from it and just be objective about the whole story, I think I'd probably say Katrina's my favorite. I don't know how to answer who I would want to be because I've spent so much time thinking about
Tanner all the way.
What?
Tanner or Taylor all the way.
Tanner or Taylor, yeah.
They're so cool.
They're a combo. Yeah, actually, though, I think I'd want to be Tanner. That sounds...
There you go.
He's got it made. He's got it made.
His life is really...
Him or Sanseer. I think that would be a dope power to see the future and to be the keeper of the gate.
Okay.
Well, junior keeper of the gate.
Temporary. Can I even do that voice anymore? Where is it? I gotta find it. You keep talking.
Yeah.
It is back here in my throat. I found him.
There you go. You found it.
Leonard Bjorn's big
Dusting
hero.
off character shelves in my larynx.
It is. I have to find them. They're like in a different spot in the throat. I'm like, where did I put Grorg?
It's right next to
Shut the fuck up. Salazar?
Yeah, it's right next to Salazar.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Naturally.
Which segues to the question. Emma asked, which character puts the most strain on your voice? Abil. Abil and Grorg is a combo.
Okay.
For me. Just because that rasp. That growl. Which now that we're going into Brillian, the home of the orcs, I'm going to get fucked over. I need to think of a new way to differentiate orcs.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't have to state that all orcs have that growl in it.
I probably should, yeah.
I would say the two, because I think there's been random one-off side characters that were a little hard on me, but I would say the two that I can think of that were the most difficult were Terrence and at times Eloise when trying to differentiate from Katrina.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
I'd say the easiest ones to do are, what was Bartuk's brother's name?
Started with an R, just like all of them.
Ramesh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's just my voice, so that was super easy.
Yeah. Which was very funny, to be totally honest. Like, having him just be like, yeah, so, basically my brother, it's a whole big story, yeah. That killed me. That was so unexpected.
And then I'm trying to remember the name of the one puck guy.
Market Mark?
Market Mark, yeah. I fucking love doing Market Mark.
Of course. I was actually really looking forward to this question because I have wanted to talk about this for a while. I'm going to take just a short minute here, hopefully a very short time. I want to talk about the Bombadilio voices. Because,
Ooh.
Because,
that's right.
Because I didn't know how to organically bring it up in any other recording.
Yes.
And I was really excited to talk about it because while I was working on it, I was like, okay, I need voices for these different people, but I don't know how to do voices. So I decided everyone in that story was just going to be my very shitty attempts at different famous people. So let me think here. I don't know if y'all remember the actor guy who was like very big and his voice was kind of like this and like da-da-da-da-da. That was just my attempt at John Mulaney.
Oh!
Gary.
Yeah.
Gary's full name is Gary Bibb because he's just Barry Gibb, the Bee Gees guy. Staying alive. And that's why he looks like this all the time.
So it wasn't Mickey Mouse.
No, it wasn't Mickey Mouse. Everyone thought it was Mickey Mouse. I felt so embarrassed. Bombadilio is just the singer for Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yes.
So he was always talking like this. And like
I love Bombadilio so much.
Yeah. No, that was fun. I think there was a farmer who was supposed to be Nicolas Cage, but after like a single sentence, I just bailed because I knew it was not working. and I just sort of gave up, and he just had like he just kind of had a random gruff voice. Now, so there were those 4. I think that was it.
The Apple Lady.
Oh shoot! Oh, that's true. There was the girl. I didn't give her. I couldn't think of any fun like woman celebrity voices, so I just gave her a pretty normal voice. But yeah, there was supposed to be a joke in there about how her family name was Applewood, but some relatives wanted to change it to Berrywood after there was like a wedding or something, and then someone else wanted to change it to Cherrywood, and no one could agree, so her full name is like Appleberry Cherry Peachwood or something. But that never actually came up, so I just forgot about it and we moved on.
We moved on.
Yeah. So that's the story why all the voices in the Bombadilio story are so damn stupid. Thank you for listening.
I wouldn't say stupid. I would say they're endearing.
Oh, thank you.
They are diverse and unique.
That's very kind and also forgiving of you to say.
You did great. Yeah. A couple more miscellaneous ones. Christian asked, what's your YouTube channel that you talked about in season 1?
Well,
we don't have one, but I do think what we might have been talking about was at one point Jamie uploaded an animated video of the first time we met Murgic on his personal YouTube channel. So what's that YouTube channel, Jamie?
That's just my regular channel called Obvious Ghost. Let me see here. What did I name the video?
Just go to Obvious Ghost and you'll find it's the one with the cow.
Yeah, and I could link it on our page again if people want to see it.
And then the only other time we've referenced YouTube was when we did the Smash tourney,
yeah.
Super Smash Bros. And Jared, I don't know his YouTube channel. Oh, it's Psy Gaming, I think. But that's on there, which I think he's going to do another one now that season 2 is done. So I'm going to talk to him about that. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. That was such a fun idea.
Bjorn Bjornsson is trash on my voice. I forgot about that. Holy shit. He's definitely the worst.
Oh, yeah.
He is the worst. Another question Chase asked was, what was question number 2? And I do believe you're referring to in the finale, Jake said he had 2 questions, and then I censored out the second one.
Yep.
The answer is, his second question was, are we going to do a goofy intro or not? Because I had done the serious intro. And I was like, this is it. This right here is the goofy intro, is your 2 dumb questions. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, ask a different second question, though, because that doesn't make sense. And so then he's like, question 2 is... And so then I just ran with it. And I'm like, you don't have one, do you? And he's like, no, I don't. And then Jamie was like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah. That's exactly that. That also explains why I was so lost, yeah.
So there we go. That's the only time we re-recorded something. There you go.
Mystery solved.
You got us.
Answered.
Very, very story important.
Mm-hmm. Crucial moment.
Now you know.
Okay. Side note here in the middle of the episode. Hi, it's me interrupting us. So we had just finished the recording, and we're just shooting the shit when we got some really good questions texted into us by Josh K.
Josh K.
And so we were like, these are great questions. They're going in the episode. So Jake, you read them off. I haven't actually even heard all of these questions, so I'll be reacting raw to some of them.
Okay. So question number 1. Nathan, did you know what I was going to do with Bartuk's powers as they developed? Jake seemed to make a lot up on the spot in the game. Did Jake have free creative range and you just rolled with it? Was the surprise real? Side note, I really enjoy the reactions when Nathan gets caught off guard in the show by you two, Jake and Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jake, but I would say most of the time I didn't know what he was doing. And I did kind of just let him, because it was his character, so I'm like, yeah, just roll with it. If he had done something where he's like, and then he splits the world in half, I probably would have been like, no.
Yeah,
but all of it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, in the rules, like, it was a creative way of using like glass magic, and I was like, yo, I like that.
I think it all started when, Nathan, you sent the Omaris to Bartuk's house to obtain the weapons, and then that was when it all kind of went off the rails in terms of what Nathan wanted to happen, and what I was like, okay, then
you had told me, Jake, you had told me that you had a bigger like idea for him doing some cool stuff. Like, you wanted him to be a fighter. You wanted him to use black glass. You had told me that he was going to use black glass. You had not mentioned that he becomes a whole scorpion.
Right.
I thought he was going to like throw like daggers of glass at people.
Right.
And so then like the tail came out of the shadow, and I was like, not shadow shit. Oh no, more shadow stuff. But it ended up not being Neener related.
Right.
Yeah, I like when I get to raw react, and that's why I keep secrets from you two, because I like your raw reactions too. I think they're more fun.
So yeah, to answer the question, Nathan did not know for the most part what I was going to do. I also didn't for the most part until it was kind of happening, and I had like a little bit of an idea, and then it just kind of did what it did, as usual.
Yeah, I will say
As
Jake is
usual.
an expert at making up vague things and forcing me to have to make sense of them.
Yes, I'm very good at creating pathways that Nathan has to close off.
Yeah.
Question number 2. When Mirjik was reacting to Jamie and Jake's comments out of character, was he really reacting to it in the game? Because the idea of that happening in the moment was super cool listening to the show.
I'm going to go yes. Yep.
I think we almost have to, because at one point, because I'm so surprised, I had Rainer literally say, "Wait, who's Jake?" And you responded as Mirjik. Shut up, Rainer. So technically, it's canon that did happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Mirjik did react to Jake and Jamie.
Right.
And I did yell at him, too, at one point. So,
Okay, question number 3. What event done by another player forced you to change your actions in-game?
ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, we kind of talked about one already when Jamie and I decided that there wasn't going to be a thing between Katrina and Rainer. You had to change that.
Yep.
Quiz having to be rewritten, for sure.
I'm thinking the Black Slash, when you guys were, like, talking to her, and, like, Katrina almost convincing the Black Slash to start up, like, an Offspring location in Goldon.
Yeah.
I was genuinely
yeah.
like, are we doing this? And then Katrina just left, and so then we didn't. Obviously, the finale, I had some, just a lot of that was, a lot of it went the way I wanted, as you know, because I wrote it down and read it to you, but there were moments that had to be changed.
As Ajax and Bartuk's battle.
Yep.
Definitely.
But that was Dice, primarily.
Yeah, but
Well,
still.
and Rainer.
Yeah,
And Rainer.
the actions of another.
In that fight in particular, as Ajax and Bartuk, I had a bit of a plan that I don't know if I've ever shared with you guys, actually. I was hoping that Rainer could basically make an offer to Bartuk of, like, this is how badly I want to stop this fight, that I'm willing to give up a cool magic item to you that you could sell, and like, oh, what magic items do we have? And then Rainer realizes the only thing that he could give him to prove how serious he is about this is the ocarina. And I was genuinely thinking about that for a while, but obviously it didn't work out, and the way the fight went, I wasn't able to fit that in, and it would also awkwardly take some of the spotlight away from those two, I think. So because of how that went, I had to kind of abandon that idea.
Jake, when did Sim's name click as to its pun meaning? You know the episode where I say in a very frustrated tone that I finally got it? It was months. I'm not shitting you. I was having conversations with people who understood the joke, not just Nathan and Jamie, but other people outside of the show who had already put it together, who were like,
Right,
really?
right.
You don't get it? And I'm like, no, I fucking don't. I'm not kidding when I told you, when I finally understood that joke, there was no joy in me. I did not care one way or the other. I was so done with that.
I will say Sim, I think, is one of my proudest creations as a concept, because we had already had Neener as the inky one, and I loved that
Shadow
because
Daddy.
of the whole writer symbolism. And I had been working with a printer for work,
Right.
and I just saw the letters written out, and I'm like, that's a word, Sim. And I'm like, wait, and I'm like, they're looking for the spirit of color. That's color, and it's ink, and it's a word. Shit, there's the name right there.
But dude,
and then I just kept.
I'm not shitting you. Having a written pun in an audio medium is nothing. That's nothing.
Well,
That's on. That didn't stop everyone else from getting it, Jake.
Yeah, well,
well, that particular joke is wild because, like, it really isn't the most obvious thing to everybody. It's not like, oh, that joke is so simple, who wouldn't get it? It's kind
Simple.
It's not obscure exactly, but cyan, yellow, and magenta aren't something that's super common in everyday life.
Right.
So it
Yeah,
totally
if you
makes
don't
sense.
deal with like printer ink cartridges,
Right.
like, that's not a thing you put those colors together with.
Like, the reason it was so funny is not because, it was super obvious, because it really wasn't. The reason it was so funny is because it just kept coming up. Like,
Yeah.
And
so
also,
many
it was
times.
blatantly explained to me at one point, and I just missed it or forgot it.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was
think-
given to me,
I
and I
think it
didn't
was.
know.
I think there was a night where like a couple people were hanging out, and I think I remember Lowell saying it to you, and you were like, "Oh, that's weird." And then like later on, you had forgotten that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad time all around.
But yeah, Sim was one of those characters I knew of before we actually started recording. I actually made like concept idea images of it. I think I'll post that. at some
Interesting.
point, now that we're long past it. The initial concept ideas are not how I picture Sim now, which I think is why I haven't shared them, but they're fun.
Jamie, how did you enjoy running the Ballad of Bombadiglio? I thought it went well, and I enjoyed it.
Oh man, that's such a nice question. That's just thank you, Josh. That's fantastic. So basically, I'm super glad we did it. It was I really think it turned out super well, and I did have fun. I don't want to. I realized as I was saying it, sounds like I'm building up towards. I don't want to do it again. I really did have a lot of fun. That was a super weird thing to try out, and I'm glad it went how it went. There is something very anxious about it, though. Like,
Yeah, you had mentioned to the both of us regarding having to make up shit on the spot when we asked questions.
oh yeah. Well, I think it's probably obvious that is not that aspect of improv, which is most of improv. That is not the thing I'm the strongest at. So trying to step into that role for an episode was really, really difficult. During the actual recording, that was pretty stressful, and I was trying to stay loose and have a lot of fun and not get too worried about it. And that's why once it became obvious that like the end of the story was happening in a very hectic, very obvious way, I tried to just run with that and have fun with it instead of getting too worried that like it might seem dumb or it might seem way too predictable or anything like that. I was just like, let's just make that part of the joke. Let's just make that be as goofy as possible. But at the same time, it is very nerve-wracking in the preparation stages of like, I've got like an open Word document in front of me. I'm like, what on earth am I going to do? And I had a bunch of pretty bizarre ideas that were a lot more action in tone and a lot more like, serious isn't the right word, but basically I scrapped literally all of that as soon as I got the idea of like, what if we just did like a really shitty low budget sun festival? I was like, no, this is the idea. This is what we're doing.
Best idea.
From there, once things had taken on a much lighter tone, I feel like that made it a lot more fun for me. I don't know if I want to do it again. I want to do more one-shots for sure. I don't think I quite enjoy being the DM as much as I enjoy being a player. So I don't know for sure. I'm not ruling it out. But the main point of this is, and I'm rambling, that it was super fun, and I'm really glad how it turned out, and I'm glad people liked it. And thank you for asking.
Next question. How much time does editing an average episode take?
Great question. Too long. This is my own fault.
I'm curious as well, because I don't interact with that side of things at all.
I've been putting more and more time into it. In the original episodes, like I would just like listen to it and cut out any major chunks that were bad. But now I go through it and I take out ums and sniffs and background noises and I EQ stuff. And it has actually been a lot better because we're in different locations. I have 3 separate distinct audio files.
Yeah, I think
So
even going forward, if we do meet in person, we'll still do 3 separate audio files.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that has made it way better. Because if you go back to season 1, we condensed it to one audio file. So if Jake coughed, I couldn't get rid of that unless I took out all the audio that was in that chunk. But now I can just mute that channel. So it ends up taking more time because I'm going through every little bit. Do I need to do that? No, because most of it you can't even hear when you listen to it in the car or on generic headphones. But I want it to sound as good as I can.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it used to be that it would take me about twice as long. So if it was an hour, it would take me 2 hours to edit. Now it's probably a little bit more, and we keep making the episodes longer.
That's true.
And there were
yeah.
3 episodes that took 5 ever to edit because I don't know if I actually resolved this, but I mentioned we lost the data for some of the episodes.
Yeah.
I never got that data back.
Yeah,
Right.
Nathan
So
had to record all of his audio just by like trying to figure out what we were saying.
Yeah, so I had Jake's track, I had Jamie's track. Mine was gone because I just had it saved on my computer. So I guess this is a question that was already asked. I did have to re-record all of that for me,
And
for
like
my
some
part.
of it was funny because like you could hear your voice through my headphones coming into
Yep.
the mic,
Oh,
but
yeah.
other stuff you just had to like make up via context clues.
I had to make it up. There was one episode out of the 3 where I think you just were sitting different, and I couldn't hear what I said, so I just had to make it all up and like try to remember what I said.
Isn't that also how we lost the original name of the Najaz?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I had to remake up the name because only I said it, and so then I was like, I gotta make a new name up for it, and so
Yeah.
we went with Najaz.
So we'll never know what the name was. Yeah.
The worst part where there would be like serious story moments, I could remember what happened, but there would be like improv jokes where like Leroy would say something silly, you guys would laugh. I don't remember what the setup was though. I would just hear you say like,
Yeah.
cakes, and I'm like, the fuck, cakes? What does that have to do with anything? So that was a pain to re-record those because it wasn't fun. Like us recording in the moment is fun because I'm doing improv. Trying to recreate improv, not fun.
Right. Right.
So that was a struggle. And so there are 3 episodes, and you can probably guess which ones. Yeah, there are 3 episodes where I'm actually reacting to what they said, like in post.
yeah.
But yeah, as far as editing goes, about 2 to 3 times as long as the episode.
But then there's also another aspect of it in terms of like sound design as well.
Yeah, so as far as once Jamie sends me the music, it doesn't take that long because he does a really good job of like marking where they go. So I just kind of throw them in, listen
Yay.
to them, and then I'm like, wow, this music sounds dope as fuck. And then I record the end trailer, which is, I usually do that in one take, right before I finish it.
So then
Oh, and I hate doing the previously on because I have to like dig around through the episodes. And I'm like, where's that soundbite? Where'd it go? So I don't like doing that either.
I think this wasn't one of Josh's questions, but I think it's important. So then on the flip side of that, Jamie, how long does it take for you to do the music side of things before getting it to Nathan?
Oh boy. That time has gone up.
Yes.
More and more, even over season 2, and certainly to the finale. I need to seriously like take a look at my work process because that got very out of hand. There are definitely a couple episodes where I'd be working like probably upwards of 12 hours, I would say.
Jeez.
And like as I'm doing it, I'm just like, this isn't sustainable. Like I'm really happy with how it turns out.
Yeah, can I
But-
just say,
Yeah.
it's all phenomenal, and the time that you put
Oh,
in
yeah.
definitely shows.
Oh,
but I
fantastic.
Oh my god,
definitely,
thank you.
I definitely
Man.
understand the feeling of like
Yeah.
you have a life and you have to enjoy the work that you're putting into it. So like less is more.
Right.
Like, I'll be
right.
honest, like, whenever I'm talking to, like, other indie podcast people, that's honestly a thing I brag about. I'm like, yeah, so we're an improvised comedy fantasy podcast with an original score for every episode. So,
Oh man.
what do you have?
Guys.
Canned stock music? Fuck off.
What YouTube royalty free tracks? Okay.
Okay. This is all original. And there's like 7 in each one. So fuck you, Adventure Zone. We have more music than you.
Oh man.
I do hold that. I'm like, we are better at that. Like their music, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but we have more, and it's all solid. So,
Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. But yeah,
go
it's
buy
Do
it.
that on your own time, Jamie. We got a podcast to record.
Just the timing of that in this particular conversation was very funny.
Yeah, because
So,
we're recording
moral
a
of the story-
secondary bit.
Moral of the story is Jamie and I spend too much time on this thing that isn't our job, and we should probably spend less time on it.
But I don't want
Moving
to.
forward.
I don't
But
want
we
to
don't
spend
want
less
to.
time on it.
So I think that's honestly the benefit of having us move to every other week is it has given us the time
Oh, for sure.
to actually edit.
Yeah,
'Cause
I would love
doing
to
this
do it
shit
weekly.
I would be sitting up late at night, Thursday night, waiting for Jamie to send me the music because
Right.
it would take that long. And I would be grinding every weekend just trying to edit the stuff as soon as we make it. And so going every other week has given us time to like not have to edit every day.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like if this was our full-time thing and we
Oh, yeah,
like
this is
just
my
got
job
to,
then,
oh my
sure.
god, which would be awesome. Then doing it weekly would be understandable and feasible
Oh, yeah.
potentially,
Absolutely.
but
It is not. Let's answer this question. Natalie asked, will there be a next season? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Season 3. To be fair, she sent that in before the finale, so.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's a lot to talk about with season 3. So here's some questions. Natalie, she sent in a lot of questions. So gold star for you, no, Natalie. You get the gold
This
star.
is the
of
first
week.
one in a while.
Oh,
It's
gold
been a while.
stars. Oh,
Yeah.
my
Treasure
goodness.
that, Natalie.
Yeah.
That's yours. Keep it safe. She asked, how many more episodes like Ballad of Bombadilio will there be, and will those characters show up in later seasons?
Oh, boy.
So I'm gonna answer this one, and you boys can correct me if not. So we finished season 2, so we're gonna take a break. There's quotation marks around that until season 3 comes out. But unlike last time, there will still be episodes going up. We're gonna try to do on the same schedule every other week.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. And so bonus episodes are going to go up until the main story resumes. And so some of those bonus episodes are going to be one-shot stories like Ballad Bombadillo. We've actually recorded 2 of those already. Ooh.
Yeah, some of them have story importance, some of them don't, some of them will interact with those characters again, some of them we might not. We have no idea at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
But to answer the question, yes, they will have a little bit more impact on
Yeah.
the main season.
Also,
At least the
if
ones
you're,
we've recorded
if you're talking
so far.
about Bombadilio characters specifically,
No.
I have no
No.
plans, so I would say don't hold your breath on those guys. But, I mean, I can't control what Nathan decides, so...
Yeah, it should have been called The Origin Story of Shit.
True. Facts. But yeah, so we're going to do more one-shots. We've already recorded a couple, and we'll probably record more, not right away, but in the future, because they're fun.
Yeah.
And I love having stories crossover, so as much as possible, there's always going to be crossovers, because those are the best.
Cameos are fun.
Cameos are
Yeah.
fun. So some more bonus episodes that are going to come up. There's going to be an episode where we explain the new rules of Knight's Quest, because at the end of season 2, Mirjik forced the writer to rewrite the rules, which is my way of saying I wanted to update the rules of Knight's Quest.
Right.
So that'll actually be the next episode that comes out in 2 weeks, will be us explaining what those new rules are. And there's a pretty big change. And then we're going to play with those in a one-shot. Jake and I are going to do a one-shot episode where we just talk about a scene that we wanted to do at the end of season 2, but we didn't have time for.
It just didn't fit.
It didn't fit. And so we gave it its own episode, and I'm glad we did.
And let me tell you, that was really frickin' hard to start.
Yeah. We realized how important Jamie is to this podcast trio.
It's
Oh my
really,
God.
really hard to just have it be the two of us.
Oh, that's so nice to hear, in a weird way.
We missed you.
And also, I haven't heard that, so as soon as that goes up on the official...
That'll probably be,
that'll be the first time I'm hearing it, too. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Jamie and I are going to do an episode where we just talk more about the music from season 1 and some of the behind the scenes and the inner workings of that. And then Jake and Jamie are going to do an episode about something.
Yeah, we
About
still don't
something
know.
very Jamie. I was going to say something very established, and we totally know what we're doing.
There's a deadline. Get that to me soon.
Yeah.
And I might also do an episode where I release some of the unaired bloopers as well.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Now, granted, I don't have all of them because I lost some in the Great Data Purge.
Oh.
But I do have them from, I think, episode 29 and on. So
Nice.
I'll explain some of them too, because some of them needed a little bit more explanation. And that's why I didn't show them. And maybe other bonus stuff, depending upon how long it takes us to get season 3 up and running. So It'll be a bit before season 3 comes up because we really want to, record ahead just because our schedules are so crazy. It's good to have a stockpile, and then we can actually give them proper editing and whatnot. But recording for that will probably start soon. So, woo!
I have a question that I just thought of.
Oh.
It's a little unorthodox because it's a question for our lovely listeners. Where are the memes? We're in a meme drought right now.
Where are my memes?
I've been looking for these. I've been looking for memes. I can't find them.
Come on, guys.
If you don't make us memes, we can't be fueled
That's
to
our
record the next
sustenance.
season. Yeah, that's what we eat.
That and Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yes. And I'm all out of Cool Ranch 3. Those are off-brand and you know it.
Oh no!
How dare you, sir?
I can't even see the video
Jacques
footage.
Hughes.
I can hear it.
I will send you a frickin' picture.
All right, whatever. Oh yes. Which stats will Quiz get?
You
haven't picked yet. It's going to be a hybrid, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm excited to do stuff with Quiz.
Do you take that question to be asking like between season 1 Quiz and season 2 Conquest, which of the two sets of stats will he get?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
what I meant. Oh, that was sent by Jared who asked that question.
Okay. Huh.
I think it'll be mainly season 1 Quiz with a couple. I mean, we're rewriting all our character sheets anyway because of the new rules, so it's kind of they're all gonna be new anyway. Speaking of character sheets, Jared also asked, and Austin asked a similar question. What's going to happen with Trouble / will Trouble get a character sheet?
Trouble. Oh
So-
my god.
Yes, Trouble's getting a character sheet, and we were realizing at the end of the finale, I'm like, I have too many character sheets. I can't have this many. And Jake already has a lot, so we were like, Jamie?
I think I was the one to suggest it, actually.
Oh, yeah, you suggested it.
I really like the idea of seeing what I can do as far as Trouble's character and his input on the story, I guess.
So Jamie's going to play Trouble.
So that's going to be interesting.
2 questions that are very similar. Kelly asked, Nathan, how much of the next adventure do you have planned at this point? And Jared asked, is there anything you can tell us about Season 3, like hints or something to theorize about? Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to what I had planned for Season 2. I know what spirits I'm going to force us to encounter.
Ooh.
Natch.
So, and we might have talked about them already in the show, maybe.
Okay.
I know a couple key locations I want us to visit. I have a general idea how I want the season to end. Again, I don't know for sure. Like season 2, I had a general idea. It was going to be a showdown with Mirjik and Conquest, and that there would be this big world-changing thing that was going to happen, unless y'all convinced me otherwise. And you almost did. So I have an idea of how I want season 3 to end, but I don't like to have it written in stone because then I railroad the story, and that honestly my favorite moments have been improvised, so I'll just kind of be generally sending things that way, but if something more natural happens, then I'll rewrite it.
I have something I can say.
Oh.
The Bismarcks? What?
Oh, yes, actually, Natalie asked as well, will there be talk of Jonathan's family in the future?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. We gotta get more Bismarck action.
This is exciting news to me.
Because that's honestly like one of the best threads we had in season 1 was like the Bismarck Smith stuff.
It just
The
popped
Smiths.
up so much.
And we just kind of dropped that plot line.
There
and
weren't
I
as
loved
many
it.
Smiths in the gate.
Yeah.
And we were
yeah.
in a desert.
Yeah,
We
it
were in a
made
desert.
sense that was mostly a Glenwood thing.
Oh, also, I plan on answering the question on who it is that the writer is speaking to at the end of the episodes.
Oh, good.
So I plan on answering that question within the season.
Interessante.
And the reason I'm going to do that is because, and again, this could change, but at the moment of recording this, we are planning on season 3 being the last season with these characters being the focal point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And here's why I'm saying that. I'm an avid believer that all good stories have an ending. And we can all think of the TV shows or the movie series or the book series that just went on for way too long. They just kept going and they should have ended.
Or they said they
Now-
were going to end and then they didn't.
Right. And I feel like we have been with these characters for a while. And obviously we could do a 4th or 5th season. Like we could. Just have them keep traveling. But I think what we're building up to, whatever's going to be at the end of season 3, I think is going to resolve these character arcs, these character growths, this main story of dealing with Mirjik and whatnot. And so I think that'll be a great spot to end it. We're not going to answer every single question. So, maybe the next storyline might take place in the future and we kind of see what happens later. Or maybe it'll be more of a prequel. Okay, that's a lie. The season 4 is going to be a prequel. I already know that.
Then.
I'm going to be honest, I've really been excited for season 4 because I have a lot of things planned for that. But I have to remember we got to do season 3 first. But get ahead of myself. So the reason I bring that up is because we have a question for you. We want to make sure that we answer the most important questions about these characters in this story. So we had a little session where we talked about, okay, here's how we want to resolve this character. This is what we want to make sure we get to. But we want to know, so I'll probably do a post on Facebook as well. But let us know, what are the big questions that you want to make sure are answered? Like maybe there's something we brought up that is super important in season 1 or season 2 and we just kind of dropped, like the Bismarck stuff. Or maybe there's a character that you just want to make sure that we don't forget about. So let us know what you think is important.
Or maybe there's a plot point that we genuinely forgot about and needs to be tied up.
So let us know that. Again, I can't guarantee that we'll bring it up. It might be like, no, we're not bringing Noble Mincer into the middle of the jungle.
Oh, come on.
Oh, but now I want to, though.
Noble Mincer is the ambassador to Rillian from Glenwood.
As soon as I said that, I'm like, I miss Noble. Damn.
He's already got like 7 jobs. He can have one more.
He'd hate it so much. Yeah. That would actually be super funny to have Noble Mincer in the middle of the jungle. Okay, I'll think about it.
Excellent.
Think about it. Your pleas have been heard. But yeah, let us know what it is that you want to see answered and resolved, and that'll be taken into consideration so we can make sure that these characters' stories are done justice for season 3. So that way we can start fresh with season 4 with some brand new characters in a new world. Unless, of course, as we record, we realize, nah, man, we ain't even close to being done.
But which is kind of how season 1 happened.
Yeah, but that's the current plan.
Right.
That's the current plan. Neil asked, Nathan, what was the most frustrating... Well, I'll let you guys answer this question and vice versa, though. But Neil asked me, Nathan, what was the most frustrating decision Jamie or Jake made, and why was it Jonathan using the reverse-o-matic on the demon chains? So I'll let you guys think about what was the most frustrating decision I ever made.
Oh boy,
for you guys. I would say yes. The demon chain moment was when I realized, fuck, the reverse-o-matic so much. But I think the ones I've already talked about was when Jamie threw the ring in the bag, and I was like, well, how am I supposed to have a conflict with Mirjik without Mirjik there? So I literally was that whole time as we're talking, I'm thinking, how can we get him back? How can I get this dude back? That doesn't feel like cheating. And then I remembered, oh, he can teleport. Fuck off. So that one got me. Yeah, I think those were... I'll keep thinking, but those are the ones that come to my mind. What about you boys?
I think I know. And it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. It was the thing that frustrated me the most was probably, Nathan, you saying in recording, someone is definitely going to die in this episode about the Bartuk and his Ajax fight.
I knew that was going to be yours.
That was tough for me because in that moment, everything I wanted, like, just as a listener for what I wanted for the story, and what I wanted as a player, what I wanted to be able to accomplish, and what I knew Raynor would want to do in that moment, all 3 of those lined up at the same way, which was stop this from happening and keep both people alive. So I really can't express how much I wanted to be able to succeed in that. And I don't think this is a bad thing, by the way. I don't think this is like a problem that we shouldn't have done or anything like that. But that's just the way it shook out, that we had very different goals. So to have that be the case was really tough for me, because like that... Even though that part of the story isn't even really about me that much, because it was 2 completely separate characters, it was still something that I really needed a lot of time to come to grips with. Like, that was probably the only time that you were set on something that I was very much dreading and, like, not wanting to happen, you know? So that was a really tough, that was a tough sell. That was... Playing that scene was tough. Thinking about it afterwards was tough. Listening to it repeatedly to score the music was very emotionally draining. Yeah, that was that was the whole thing.
Yeah, let's talk about a bit more. Let's talk about Bartuk's death. So like I said, going into this season, I had conversation with friends, Xander, shout out to you, where we were like, yo, we've got a lot of characters and none of them have really died. Like, we haven't really had, like, we've had rando people die. I guess Eddie died, but we hadn't like met, that wasn't huge. And so we're like, we needed to have a main character die. And I'm always a huge fan when a story kills off a important character, not just because I'm like, yeah, gore, but because I think when it's done well, it can impact the characters and the reader in a big way. And so I was like, yo, I think I want to have a character die. And I thought the dungeon would be a perfect place because I really wanted to make sure the dungeon felt like this is a dangerous place and there's high stakes.
Right.
Granted, no one died because of the dungeon itself, but so as I was mapping out the dungeon and all the floors, I'm like, yo, floor 30, I want something to go down here. And as we were kind of realizing, you know, we want Katrina to be in the finale, I was like, how can we get her there? And I was like, oh, what if the dungeon is where Azajax's treasures are? And then Bartuk would want to go to that place. And so that kind of set that up. And then I'm like, and then what if they fought? And I was like, but who would I kill? And I'm like, let the story decide. And so that was that progression that kind of led to that moment, is I was like, I want to have someone die to make the stakes higher. And I thought Azajax and Bartuk were important enough that it would have that weight, but not like, oh, I killed off Jonathan, you know?
I can think of three moments that frustrated me. One was Quiss's transformation into Conquest, the rolling a 00, and having to like rewrite that character was really hard because I love Quiss. But it ended up being phenomenal, and I loved playing Conquest. The other moment that was really hard was the entire negotiation with Sim. From Jonathan's standpoint, that was so difficult because I still don't think he's like totally sold on the like praise and worship aspect of this religion that they have now like spawned. From like a business person standpoint, that was a hard sell. And that was difficult because like the dice rolls were not in my favor and it didn't turn out how I thought or wanted it to be.
That was such a difficult situation for you to be in at all, because you had a task which was to get something from a guy who
was
hates
sick of giving things away.
Who hates all transactions, and your goal was to get him to give you a thing.
So that was hard.
Yeah, you did great on that. That's all I got. Like, I genuinely in that moment thought
that was incredible.
I am convinced. That was very good. You know, like, I'm sold.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is any time in the dungeon where we did not complete a thing or fully understand a thing, I was mad because like my inner like completionist was screaming at me. Like I was just like, we need to get to the bottom of every little thing, and just so many things were just like, well, that's okay, bye.
Yep. Do we want to talk about the dungeon and all the things we didn't get to?
Yeah, sure.
So, do you want to hear the rooms or the creatures that I had thought of?
Here's what I would go with first. Were there any rooms in particular where you knew exactly what was going to happen, but we just decided to move along and move past it instead?
Most of the ones that we determined by dice roll, they were just like a seed for an idea. So none of those where I'm like, this is going to be important. If there was something that was important, I just had it happen.
Gotcha.
And so the other ones were just kind of like to give us some flavor to fill it out.
So we didn't miss anything big and specific.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's kind of a relief, to be honest.
No, we didn't miss anything. And anything that I wanted to like shoehorn in, that's what I did. I like forced it in there.
Right.
Let's see. I was sad. I wanted to see more. Like I had some star creatures I wanted us to see.
Ooh.
More of, but we didn't get to them.
Besides the Najaz?
Yeah. I just wrote down living stars, and I thought that'd be cool. We had a fierce fumble, so like an aggressive one.
Oh,
Would've
no.
been cool. I had a sand shark.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
We had an Usra tomb as a room that we could have gotten to.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah, all the stuff with the ancient warlocks.
Yeah, that was fun. The empty room, I literally, it's written down as empty with quotation marks around it. So
Oh, God.
I had a gibberish room where you would all talk in gibberish.
Oh no.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer we didn't do that. Oh, that reminds me, real quick, cycling back, one of my favorite moments was the campfire in the desert where everyone performed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. You doing all those impressions or of people doing impressions is incredible.
That
was a lot of
felt
fun.
like some kind of fever dream or something. I can't believe you
Yeah.
actually did that.
Yeah.
And we could immediately tell who Jonathan was pretending to be. That was astonishing.
It was so hard not to just like list off the qualities of a character, like trying to come up
Yes.
with something original to say about everybody.
Yeah.
That's how it started. You just were like, I'm green.
Yeah.
And I punch. And
Here
we're
I
like,
am. I am Grorg. See how I talk like him? Anyway, now I'm Eloise.
I have hair and comb and flute.
Nathan, what about the creatures we did find in the dungeon? Like the little
yeah.
light pulsing thing,
The element
or
pulsar.
Or the three-headed eagle, or the metal snake.
was there more info or anything about those guys?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. I just I like making up creatures.
Damn it.
So I just made some up. And when you guys almost like freed them, I was like, I
Oh
guess.
my goodness!
But
Yeah.
no, they're just cool things. And I wanted more cool things. And so I've gotten a head start. I started, since we're going to a jungle, I've already started thinking of the new cool monsters we're going to find there.
Good.
Oh, that's fun.
So I've got a couple that I am excited about.
Okay,
So,
you
there's a spoiler for
legally
you.
legally have to answer this question. Are we
Okay.
going to encounter a heinous beast?
I'll say this. I have thought of what that is.
Okay.
I'll say that. I have a picture of what a heinous beast looks like, does, and why they are terrifying to hunt.
Cool.
So-
Cool.
Okay,
Tight. Cool. Tight.
You might have to cut this out of the actual recording, but I swear to God, Jake, I thought you were going to say, "Are we going to encounter the ancient Finge?"
Now,
No,
second
they live
question.
they live on a different island.
Are we going
live
to
on
encounter the ancient finch?
No, they live. The ancient finge lives on Lyston. That's a different island,
Oh, okay, yeah.
which we have not addressed. Or
Are
talked
we
about.
going to somehow make our way to Lyston in season 3?
No, but maybe season 4.
Oh shit!
Oh shit.
The last questions I want to address, that at least that were submitted. Drew asked. No, actually, hold up. I got to backtrack. There's one more really important question. Super important. Josh K asked us, "What dat butt do?"
What?
And I think the only way I can respond is, "What can it do?"
Do we have
can't
any
it do?
more context?
That's it. That's the question.
Oh, okay, cool.
What dat butt do?
Sure.
Oh boy.
And that's that quality. That's
Yeah.
that quality questions that I really wanted. It do a lot. That's all I gotta say. It do a lot.
God.
It do be
Okay.
there doing that.
No, the actual last questions. Drew asked, "Where are the shirts?" And Emma asked, "Can we have a live KQ podcast event?" Obviously, once the pandemic is like done. So to answer those questions, I'll say I would love both of those: t-shirts and more merch and live shows. The reason we don't have them is, as much as we love you, our fans, I just gotta say we've got some incredible fans. Like the percentage of our fans that engage is crazy high.
Oh yeah.
But
That is really
we
fun.
actually, there's not many of you. We don't have a ton of listeners. And so when it comes to merch, I have to like buy it ahead of time and then sell it to you.
Right,
So like, with any business, if I buy a bunch of it and no one buys it, then I'm out the money. So stickers, nice and cheap. So I can buy a bunch of those
Right.
on sale. And if I don't sell them all, not the end of the world. T-shirts, there's different sizes, different colors. So unless someone knows a way I can order shirts like individually one at a time without that being a ridiculously high price,
Well, Nathan,
yeah, then let's do shirts.
I had an idea. I was thinking about this the other day, actually, because I was thinking about this question. And you can cut this out if we don't want it in here. But I had an idea for the T-shirts. We could potentially do a pre-order for the shirts where we could
Oh.
establish like what is the price for one shirt, and people could include their sizes, and we could do not like a GoFundMe, but we could set up something where people could, like, air quotes, donate money, and they could send in the money for their shirt, so we could figure out how many people want them, how many we would need to order. So we could do pre-orders, and that way everybody who wants one gets one, and we don't have to worry about bulk stuff. The other idea that I had was we could do a limited run. We could establish, like we could send out a question and say, hey, we are going to sell 20 t-shirts to the first 20 people who ask for them. And so we lock in, that's how many there are, that's how many we're going to buy. As soon as we get who we're getting them, we know what sizes, and then we get the money, we order them.
All right, folks. So you heard it here first. I guess Jake has convinced me. We might do a limited order or pre-order, so let us know if you're interested, and let us know what ideas you have for the shirts. As far as live shows go, I would love to do that. But again, that one, we would have to like rent out a space and like ideally fill it. So we kind of need to know, we need to have enough people. So the reason I bring this all up is if you want that kind of stuff need to happen, we need to grow our audience. So we're doing our best to try to
the
get more
emperor
stuff.
of fucking segues.
I am. That's my job. So tell more people about the show if you want better stuff. Because we're cheap as fuck and we can't afford actual advertising.
Anything.
We're gonna get a billboard for that. Just that'd be awful. That'd be so bad.
I will say, in terms of advertising, thank you so much to Kelly and to the other people that have talked about our show on their shows.
Yes.
That's how we met Natalie from Fanimated, and it's so awesome to meet people who we don't even know that love our stuff.
Yeah. So welcome to everyone here who came from other shows. So keep spreading the good word. You know, just like you would talk about better, or you would talk about the simplicity. You know, you just gotta tell other people, shove it in their face.
Make them buy
it. This means that the beginning of season 3, like first scene, Grog and Jonathan are going to be like, so I've been thinking about shirts. So let's talk shop for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, I don't want to come across as like this selfish person, like tell other people about our show, because I am honestly super grateful for the fans that I have. I just say this because that we have. You're our fans. But I'm saying this,
comrade.
If you want these other things to happen, we can't currently do that on the amount. It just wouldn't be worth it. We just couldn't do it. So if that's something you want, you're gonna have to help us to do that. Is why I bring that up. So keep engaging. You guys have been incredible with your engagement. Thank you so much for sending these questions.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah. We get so excited when literally anybody sends anything, any meme, any question,
anything, no
an
matter
email.
how small.
We get so excited about that. So anytime anyone leaves a review, leave a review.
Reviews.
It makes our day, and this is not an exaggeration. This is not us lying. It honestly makes our day. So,
like, you can send me a text just talking about the show, or a question, or like anything on the Facebook page, whether it's a comment or an original post, an email.
Love that
like
shit.
Everything is just like, oh my god,
someone watches, listens to our show. Well, yeah. So that's why I say that there. I guess moving forward, next episode in 2 weeks will be the rules episode / a bonus episode where we are going to be in a village that we have talked about but never been before.
Oh, a village, you say?
Shut the fuck up. You gave it away.
You don't have to keep that in.
Nathan, you just gave it away by saying that.
So that's going to be next episode. There's going to be a bunch more bonus episodes that come after that. And I will let you guys know when season 3 is on its way. But it probably won't be for a couple months. But there'll still be episodes. So
gotta
every other Friday.
Stockpile them episodes.
Right. Yeah, we got to build that pile up. It's an empty pile right now. It's very sad. Sad empty pile. So look forward to content still coming your way. Send us those memes. And I've got one final question that every nighttime has to include. Yes. And this is going to be to both you, Jake and Jamie, but also to you, the fans. I want you to answer this as well.
Maybe we should make this question a post once the KQ comes out.
This will be the post that I ask.
Ooh.
And it is, what do you think will happen next? And what do you want to happen next?
The answer that comes to mind is going to be so uninteresting because I'm thinking like, oh, what I think will happen next is that we'll journey around Rillian and we'll meet wacky people and then we'll and like I'm trying to think of something more concrete than that, you know?
What I think is going to happen next is we are going to wander around in the jungle for a while. I think we're going to meet, if not like Grog's direct relatives, more orcs, obviously. I think Grog is going to find a weapon. I think the party is probably going to split or deteriorate in some sort of way. I think we're going to find more spirits to join our cause. And eventually, I think somehow far away from where we started and not near how we expected, we're going to have a big showdown with Mirjik. What I want to happen is I want Bathilda and Eloise to be reunited. I want Eloise to become more sure of herself. I want Jonathan to have more interactions with Raynor and potentially more interactions with his family. I want the whole trouble situation to be more.
More?
Yeah, I want the better business to come back and be like interact with the simplicity and see how that all shakes out.
Nice.
I want us to go to the heart of Anima, and I want more memes.
More memes. Now you said everything I want. All right. Well, that's it. So thank you everyone for sending in your questions. Truly, we couldn't do this episode without you. We do this whole show for you guys. So thank you for listening every week.
That being said, if you are coming to this episode past when it was recorded and you still have questions, or you weren't able to get your question to us in time, or we didn't answer your question the way you wanted it, you can always leave questions on the Facebook group, Knights Quest group. You can always send us an email at, what's the email?
Knights.quest10@gmail.com.
We'll always answer your questions either directly or post them on the Facebook page if they need to be posted there. But yeah, this isn't the be all end all of interaction with us behind the scenes.
Right, for sure.
Keep sending us your fan theories too. I eat that up.
Oh yes.
And like I said, who knows? Your fan theory could become canon.
Because we're never gonna be like those Hollywood douchebags and be like, no, this was our plan from the beginning.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Never
I will straight up give credit where credit's due. Yeah. Any other final thoughts you boys got to say?
I want as Ajax coins. I know that's not. If anyone is good at making 3D printing files, if somebody could make a 3D printing file of his Ajax coins,
can you imagine?
I've got a 3D printer.
That would make me so happy to own an Ajax coin.
I'm literally sitting next to my 3D printer right now. All I need is that STL file.
If anyone can create that file, I would be eternally grateful.
Wow.
I will shower you in his Ajax riches if you can make that happen.
Well, I have the Ajax riches, okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, check yourself.
But I mean, I will hold the riches above you and shake them.
Oh, yeah. And have them fall on you.
Yeah, I will be the conduit for that.
Also, here's an idea I've been wrestling with. What do you guys think about, and this is to everyone listening to this, think about 3D printed figures of characters from the show, and then we sell those.
Oh, dip.
We need to establish what they look like first.
Yeah, right?
That's true. That's a good plan. An idea. I've been thinking about it. I got a 3D printer.
Interesting.
3D printed dragon spit ring for me to wear? ? Exclamation point.
Oh. We'll talk after. We'll talk more after. All right. Well then, if we got nothing else we got to say, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks with our first bonus episode, and in a couple months for season 3.
We love you all so much.
You guys
for your
are
questions.
so great.
May your place in his story be long.